Hello, everybody. How are you? How are you? This is Thursday, October 26th. And in 3 days, my oldest child will be 45 years old. Yep, I'm old. So, how did that happen? How did that happen? But it is so good. Whoops, too far down, Deb. Go back up a little. So it is so good to see you. And yes, I'm still having my crystal vertigo, which, if some of you aren't familiar with it, it's where a little crystal in your ear, you have these crystals in your inner ear that sometimes come loose. And when they do and float around, oh my gosh, they make you feel like you're on a ship during high seas in a busy storm. So it's really tough. Mark helps me get down here because I'm so afraid to fall. When you look down, you get extra dizzy. So looking down to come down the stairs is a little scary. But I'm here. I did it. I told Mark I've never had it last this long. And I keep trying. There's this little exercise you can do of falling back onto the bed, and there's a certain way to do it. And you have to look it up to know, but I've been doing that 3, 4, 5 times a day. It's not working yet. So, yeah, we'll get there. But my tummy bug is all gone. And tomorrow afternoon, Mark and I are going to get our 8th booster and then going to get our flu shot. So we'll get double vaccinated again. And because last 2 times I was vaccinated, I had my what's it called? Shingles vax. So that's a two-parter. But anyway, I got to tell you. So when you're thinking, oh, don't talk about vaccinations. We love watching Late Night with Stephen Colbert. He was sick. He got COVID last week for the third time. And um, he said his wife had gone and had the new booster. And he was so busy working since after the strike, and they got back on. He got COVID. And as bad as sick as he was, and he said, we kissed plenty, don't worry. She never got sick because she got her booster. So even though she's living with a man who really felt sick, he said his throat was flaming, that she didn't get it. Only he did. So get that booster, people, because, oh, I don't think it's going to go away anytime soon. And now they're saying, are there heart problems associated with long COVID? I don't know. As far as I know, I've never gotten it, don't want it. So tomorrow night, because I have a retreat coming up in 3 weeks, and I said, I want to get all my boosters before I go because I'm going to be around people. And I'm a homebody. So we're going tomorrow night to get it done. I was supposed to get it done last week, but I had the tummy bug. So, and I thought I would show you something I'm working on. This is only the second crochet pattern that I have followed. And I'm trying to remember that page I gave you from the sewing place that said pumpkins, pumpkins, more pumpkins, or whatever. And that's where we made the pumpkin pin cushion. We made the pumpkin pillow. I did the paper piece pattern last week. And if you need it, it's probably in both weeks. The write up below the write up right below the video. So I'm following my second pattern, and I'll have to go around like this. Then I have to crochet a tube to put, and then I have to stuff the pumpkin. So since I've been so dizzy, I have been sitting at night working on this. And I sure wish that I had my buddy Marcia here to show me, because it's so funny. My grandmother taught me how to knit and crochet when I was about 8 years old. And she didn't live near us. So I happened to see her probably the one time for that year. And I was like, how do you do that? And so she showed me a few things. So they said chain 25. Okay. All of a sudden, I realized I was casting on. I was casting on the crochet needle, not chaining. So I had to look it up. It's like, okay, how again is chaining? Because I get confused between knitting and crocheting, even though I never knit. I don't feel like I can handle two needles at once. It could get dangerous here. So anyway, but so it's funny what I have to go check and what does this mean? Trying to read a pattern. I have crocheted my whole adult life, but I just did whatever I felt like. I didn't know what I was doing, and I only made blankets or shawls, so I didn't have to worry. Didn't, you know? And I made up my own rules. When you're decreasing, I made it up. So anyway, I wanted to tell you, yes, exactly. I wanted to tell you real quickly that there's another Mancuso um I- virtual schoolhouse, and that's coming up the 10th, the 8th through the 10th, and there's still some classes left. And I think it's probably too late to get some of the kits sent to your home. But if you want to take a class, I want to support this because, the older I get, the less inclined I am going to be to travel to a quilt show, stay in a hotel, and go to the classes. So if I can take these classes virtually, I'm really happy. And I have taken two or three classes from their virtual um, schoolhouse in the past. So just wanted you to think of that. And Mancuso, I think, just had their 30th anniversary of being a quilt company and staging these wonderful shows and symposiums and the whole thing. Now, I'll tell you one more. Svetlana's here. Oh, hi. Hi, hon. So I want to tell you, I had I had to cancel my mammogram last week, so I set it up for yesterday at 5 p.m. and I go to a wonderful place. I love it. They have done such care to set up the mammography section to be calm, quiet, peaceful. It has a false fireplace. They're very gentle to you, and they greet you right away, and it's just wonderful. So I was telling the young woman, and I say young woman because she's in her 30s, so that's a mere child to me. And I was telling her how important their job is, that 3 years ago I passed a kidney stone, and my doctor sent me there to say, what's going on? Why did you pass a kidney stone? And I said, that's when they found my tumor. And I said, I didn't know I had it. And thank goodness they were so careful in looking for it. And I said, I was able to have the surgery 3 years ago. I'm still cancer free. Very happy about that. And so she was like, oh, it's so good to hear. So I said, the work you do is really important. The reason I tell you this now is because she did the mammogram to end all mammograms. It was so cute. She was getting all parts, and oh my God. And well, this one's a little bit blurry. I'm going to do it again. So she was so meticulous and careful. Now, I thought that was very sweet. And um but then I came home and I said, she took a lot. She really made sure she had lymph nodes and everything. So then I started worrying. So about 1 in the morning, I'm all of a sudden panicked. Okay. And she told me they probably wouldn't get me the answer since it was late yesterday when I had it done. So this morning, I stumble out early and I get on we have our hospital. My hospital's Wake Forest Baptist, and they have a portal. So you can go in and check about all your doctor's appointments, your medications, view your test results, everything. So I came out, stumbling out, barely awake, checking nothing. I checked on and off all day. Now, by this time, I'm thinking, oh, I'm going to get a call from my doctor. It's going to be bad news. And, and I'm trying to channel my inner Jody, who's so brave. So finally, I hadn't gotten an email saying the test results were in, but tonight, I guess about 5:30, I went into the portal and there my results were, and my results were fine. So I'm just going to tell you, there's a reason we have mammograms. They're a good thing. And I was thinking when I was younger, I thought, oh, by 65, I won't need them anymore. Well, you know what? Alex Anderson was discovered with breast cancer at 67. I think that as long as they want to give me an annual mammogram, I'm getting one. So I'm just really grateful. So happy. It was like I had worked myself up. Do you ever do that? I get so mad when I do that. I keep telling myself, Deb, chill. Don't borrow trouble. Just relax. And it's so hard. So, anyway, but I'm here and I'm very happy. And I've got a messy room, and my granddaughter's coming over to sew with me tomorrow. Some point I've got to get this room. I told Mark with my dizziness, I haven't been able to really clean because bending over can set me off so dizzy I don't want to fall. Yes, Charlie, look at y'all. I love y'all so much. Y'all are such good friends. And so I told Mark, I'm just going to take and put everything on a folding table and move it. Because the most important thing, we're trying to remember, I think I told you, we're making the Anastasia gown from Disney's movie. And so I'm so excited to work on that again. She's going to college, she's working, and but she on her own wrote and said, Nana, are you available to sew October 27th? Yeah. I was like, I'm not letting a messy room stop me from sewing with that child. So I'm so excited. All right. So anyway, it's all good. And I haven't been exercising the last few days because of the dizziness, but I've got to get back to it. I miss it. Isn't that weird? But that elliptical trainer is gentle on my joints, and I really look forward to that twice a day. Mark's like, he told my daughter, she's a mad woman now with this stuff. He said 2:30 in the morning, she's in there exercising. And he said, I can tell because I can hear it squeak, squeak, squeak. So, but you know what? It's been a good thing. Been a good thing. Oh, and I had to keep track of my blood pressure for my cardiologist. He wrote back this morning or yesterday morning, and said, it looks excellent. Keep up the good work. So that's good. That's good. But poor Mark, if I get sick, he's worried. Oh no, what is it now? So no, it's just called getting old. Oh, and Melanie sent in some pictures to our group. I'm not sure if she's here, but Melanie's back to sewing, and it made me so happy. So I've got to write her back more, but I sent her a quick email last night. Said I just had to tell you I'm so excited to see you sewing again because she had a shoulder replacement. And when I was a kid, I always wondered why old people talked about all their conditions because it never stops. It never stops. So anyway, let me pull this light over here a little bit. And I guess you see my Donnie. I have continued to work on his face, and I just about think it is where it should be. So, but I've tweaked his eyes a little bit. What I have found when you're doing faces, it's the littlest thing. It doesn't take much to throw it off. And so I just keep tweaking, tweaking, tweaking. But today, what I'm going to do is I have some ideas for fabrics, and we'll try them again. I'm pretty certain I love this for the background. It reminds me of uh, a portrait photographer's background. And so I think I'm pretty much going to stick with that. But I've got another idea for shirt fabric because I'm soon going to need shirt fabric. But let's see. I want to see who's here. Oh no, when you broke your shoulder in three places. Oh, ah. Thank you, Denise, and I'm glad you healed. I can't imagine. I've never broken a bone. I've chipped a bone in my toe and it was painful. So I hope never to break one. All right. So Barbara Smith is here. Marcia's here. Laura, Michelle the quilter. Oh, this is so good to see all of you. Svetlana is here. Mitty's here. Hi, Mitty. Denise. Oh, that's so cute. I love that Denise came up with our abbreviation OT2Q. I love that. So that's wonderful. Lisa's here. Hi, Lisa, sweetheart. Oh, it's so good to see all of you. Oh, y'all are the best. And I'm so glad Denise is here too. So, anyway, I'm really liking it. And the reason I did it in purples is because their mother, that's her favorite color. So I thought, oh, that'll be cool. You know, you can do these in flesh tones, but that's another whole thing. I would have to collect flesh tones because you would need at least six or eight flesh tones to give you those choices. So, and then you have to make sure you've got the correct flesh tones. These beautiful babies have the most gorgeous olive color skin. So, you know, it's a different flesh tone than I have, Miss Pale as can be. So, what I want to do really quickly, and I've been working on Russell's, and I sent a picture. I took a picture of this a few changes ago and sent it to my son and said, "Do you know who this is?" And he wrote back and said, "Oh, that's Donnie. How do you do that?" So I said, "It's a special Christmas present for you and Nikki." So, okay, I'm going to lay this out. Then I'm going to use this one. And you know that I have this on top of a sheet of Steamacine 2. And because that way it won't stick. So let me just put this back on. But let me see if I can take this carefully off. And that way, if I lay it on the potential background, you get a better idea. If I left the white paper around the edge, you wouldn't get a really accurate view. Okay, here we go. Whoop, 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 whoop. Okay, come on here, there. Whoops. Okay. It does stick, let me tell you. Okay, so I'm going to lay, now let me get this laid back down. The eye tends to want to do unusual things there. I did so much work on the eye that it's hard for me sometimes to have it stuck down correctly. Okay. All right. Some of this got a little messed up, but all right, let's bring you over and let you see. Okay. All right. So here is this is my Donnie. So it's going to be Donnie here, and let me grab my Russell here. So it's going to be Donnie. I think this is supposed to be on top, but I might not. I think maybe I had it this way. Okay. So here is Donnie, and then Russell. Let me put his shadow back. Sometimes the outside pieces don't want to stick good because they're only stuck here. Okay, and then here, Russell's going to be here. All right, I hate to take him off. Let me see. Now, I'm too afraid. Oh, I'm going to lose everything. But I've got both of these. So then I was thinking, well, the Complementary color to purple is yellow. Oh, thank you. I tell you the truth, Jody really inspired me. So I'm thinking I could do a yellow shirt. I think maybe I'll do a tan shirt, kind of tone it down just a little. It would be nice to do one with kitty fabrics, but honestly, I was thinking about this. And then here's a cool color. So it's still in the yellow family, but just a little more toned down. And so then what if I did this color over here for Russell? And I think it would look good. And I'm thinking, I don't know if I want this bright. I think that's too bright. So I even got a brighter one. I think that is a little, yeah, I don't want anything to draw away from faces. Now, something like this in a light, that would work because the face is still the biggest thing. So then I have this one. It's a little more of a pumpkin. So I've got some good choices. This is a yellow green. Oh, that would even look really well, especially with the background. So what I'm thinking I might want to do is do one, maybe this color for one of them, and maybe this color for the other. So they're still a little distinctive. But I just wanted you to show that I wanted to show you that I have been working on these to try to that's a little too dull because it blends too much with the background. So, but it really helps just to take and lay these out and get an idea. So that this one might be a little too dull too. So I'm thinking these two colors might do it. Now I'm going to pull it back to show you these colors on the background. Let me see. So this would be Russell's color. Now, I'm going to take him off because the Teflon sheet is distracting. And let me pull this way. And let me just lay out a little bit of this fabric. There we go. Let me lay that out. And whoops. So I'm thinking something like that might be really good. And I think I could put their name on it, but part of me kind of wants to have people say, yeah, sure, that's Russell, that's Donnie, because they are distinctive once you are around them. They look a lot alike. Well, one thing is, one's about 15 months older than the other. But I think this is actually a very good fabric. I think having the yellow and the purple is good. And then I think this background is just yummy. So I'm thinking this is going to work. What do you think? Oh, yeah, I wonder. So, but they are distinctive in their own way. So I was kind of part of me was like, should I tell people or just have them guess? So okay, well I'm going to put him back on this special piece of paper, and okay. And once we get Russell's face finished, then I get them put on the background with their shirts. And then what I do is I'm going to start the quilting. Oh, you love them? Okay, good, good. Thank you. I love hearing your answer back because sometimes I'm not that good with color. And so it really does help me. Oh, do you remember last week when I was talking about, I was showing you the triptych that I finished? And so I'm going to keep these handy. But this Jenny Buyer, oh my gosh. I tell you what, I wish now I had bought even more of her fabric because I haven't really noticed any new fabric line coming out. I think she took a well-deserved break and is not sure she wants to get that busy again because she has so many interests. She is an avid gardener. Um, she loves historic homes, her own quilting. I mean, she's just got so many irons in the fire. Her grandchildren, and I know she's probably traveling out to California because they're on separate coasts. So I'm sure she's very busy, but I wish now I had just bought a bunch. Oh, Betty, you're so sweet. Oh, thank you. He's getting there. Now, don't look at this mouth. I was kind of working ahead, but I don't want you to see the mouth yet. But anyway, here he is. And I found some of the pattern pieces, but some of them I'm just going to have to draw new ones. That's what I've kind of been doing because it's just overwhelming to try to to try to figure it out. So, as I've told you before, and I'm going to say it again because it is a good way to do it, label, label, label. What I should have done is number. It's about 100 pieces per face, and I should have numbered them. If I had numbered them, then I would have saved myself so much trouble. Oh, I know why I'm not seeing this. Hold on, I got to tuck this under. Tuck it under. All right. And just make sure that you have some registration points and you can tell when you're perfectly lined up. All right. And as you see, I work very messy because I save all of my little scraps. Now I've got some like this and the rest on here that I don't know where they go. So I'm sad about that, but sometimes I'll turn it over and draw a pattern again on the back and just ignore the busy front. But look at all of this. Whoops, let me bring the camera over. Do you see my scrap pile? I try to keep my good pieces of fusible where I can use them. But I had to gather this all up to come down here. And so those are my usable. I keep even little pieces because sometimes I go, oh, I need that a little bit longer. And I do it. So, okay. Now, then what I try to do, so when I start work, I have all of this. I try to put the reasonable scraps back where they belong. I keep all of my fusible in an area, and I keep that trash can handy, and I throw away everything I can unless it's something I might be able to use. Like this looks like a mess. But what this is a piece of fusible. Now, the fusible, the Steamacine 2, it's sticky, which I like because it's repositionable, but it picks up everything. If it picks up too much stuff, then just crunch it up and throw it away. Treat yourself to new fusible instead of fretting over a tiny messed up piece. And a piece like that, fabric like that, come on, that is just a mess. Throw it away. So I have to be so hard that I'm not even paying attention. All right, so I'm just going to pull out. I try to keep my fabrics separate from the fusible if I can. But when I get concentrating and working, I don't know about y'all, but oh my gosh, there are times, I'm not even paying attention to what I'm anything else besides this. I tell you what, Jody, she really did. She taught us so well. And even though I tell y'all, it's not quite my thing, the honest truth is, and sometimes I'll even save a piece like this. sometimes you just need a little thin little thing. So, but you get to decide what your tolerance level is for trash and make yourself comfortable. Don't make yourself crazy. So, if it looks like trash, then go ahead and toss it and you'll be happier. But anyway, sometimes the piece will come off of the paper and I'll stick it, where I know that it won't get lost. So, like, here's a piece, it lost the top part. So, I'll just set that somewhere where I can see it and then go ahead and move on to the next thing. But I like keeping sometimes these little pieces of just the fusible because you never know when you're going to need a little tiny piece and you can just kind of roll it gently and put it under the fabric. So see how it tends to come off the little tiny scraps, but that's okay. So I'll just take and this piece of fusible and I'll just stick it on the edge of this mat. And that way, if I just need fusible, I can grab it. But look at all these little pieces. Now, if I had more time, I don't want to take up too much time doing this. But let me show you what I've had to do because I've gotten so overwhelmed. I've gotten so overwhelmed with trying to figure out where the tiny little pieces of things go. And I don't want to lose the joy of creating this because this artwork is going to outlive me. If you make one of these for your loved ones, that's going to be a family heirloom, and it's going to be the memory of you going into the future. So, not to put too much pressure on you, but oh, that's a good idea. Jody keeps a shoebox and puts all the little pieces in because there are times you will definitely use them. I've used them a lot. So, like, here's just a piece of the fusible, so I'll stick it up here, and that way if I need a little scrap, I've got it. All right, so I think pretty much. Now, another thing, when you're working on this, if there's a little tiny piece that you have worked hard to get just right, but you need to move it to do something else, then please remember to put it in a special place. Have a special place on your workstation. Maybe like a um, glass saucer, something you can put it somewhere you can put it, you won't lose it. I'm liking the process now, but I find it exhausting. When I really do like it. I think there's no better way to make a portrait. But for me, when I do my landscapes and do all the tiny pieces where I look and cut it out and look and cut it out, that to me is so much easier. And other people would find that difficult because what if you cut it out wrong? What if it comes out looking weird? Whatever. But for me, that's fun. This is hard for me. But I'm not the engineer type. I'm the flaky type. So that's why it can be a little hard. All right. So what I want to do now is I'm a little concerned about his nose area. Now, earlier, I had tried to cut some mouth parts out and little teeth and stuff, but that's going to come last. I was just every once in a while, I'm working so hard trying to get it done right. And I have to give myself a little time to play. And so let me hold on 1 second. I want to get something. This keeps sliding. I think it's the way I've got it folded. So I'm just going to come down here and pin it so it doesn't keep moving. And sometimes you have to just blow off all these threads. When I finish putting everything in place, I will take one of those sticky lint rollers and roll it across, but I have to make sure it's already ironed down and pretty there to go. All right, so now what I'm going to do is fold back because I don't remember what I did to make the nose work right. And I'm a little concerned that this piece is coming down in the wrong. No, actually, darn it, that does look right. Okay, it didn't look right to me when I was looking at the finished one. Let me do something really quickly. I want to get my little bottle of glue because sometimes some of these pieces, I've pulled them up too many times. They're not very sticky. So let me find a place to put. There we go. So I'm going to come back under here and just put a little touch of glue to hold these. And then looking under carefully, lifting. All right. I put a little piece here. And if you have the little, oh, thank you. I hope they will. Ah, that'll be nice. Now what I do is, what did I do with the top of my glue? Oh, there it is. And that's another thing. Keep track of little things. Get into habits of putting things in a special place so that when you need them, you can find it. Because with all these little tiny pieces, and heaven forbid you sneeze, so keep things where you can find them. This is the time to be very organized. All right, so now I'm going to peel this back. I'm going to take a piece of my clear. Now let me see. I've got those two there. I need I need these little moonish things. So now this is where you know me, I'm so cheap, but I like to take a little piece that I can't use somewhere else, like this. And I've learned also use a pen. Don't use pencil to draw these because once you take off the back paper, it becomes so invisible you can't see your pencil marks. So let's see. Okay. Let's see. And sometimes the pen doesn't want to draw on this nonstick paper. That makes sense. So if you have to use a fine tip Sharpie, like that didn't even draw. So let me grab, I had a fine tip Sharpie here the other day. What is this? Oh, this is kind of interesting. I'm not sure what it is, but I'll use it. Okay. So I put this here and I draw. Okay, and then this is a darker piece, so I don't have to worry about having extra lines around it. And my scissors are, oh, there's my micron pen. I put it so carefully that I wouldn't lose it. And then I lost it. So now, let's see. Okay. Okay. Right. And I can use this one for the next one. So, oops, I peeled off the wrong way. Oh gosh, let me tell you about this. There was a piece on here. Was it this piece? Or it was one of the pieces on his face. I had to cut it 3 times before I got it to face the right direction. I was like, come on, Dab. I get nervous sometimes not wanting to make a mistake. But boy, am I thrilled. I'm so happy that, let me see. I'm so happy. Oh, I see what this is. So this one should be lighter than that one. All right, I can do this. So here is a piece that I cut out going the wrong, that looks like the right way. No, maybe I did the wrong fabric. Yeah, that was supposed to go there. So why don't I take this? This is supposed to be lighter. That's right. Hey, come on, lighter piece. I find that I wish I had more choices in my light fabric. If I were to do this again, I would take time, I think, to I would take time to buy more fabric so to have choices. But I have to keep coming back and using the same ones. So, but I tell you what, this is a wonderful process. I have a lot of respect for our Jody, and because she's so excellent at this. It's a wonderful process, and I will probably only use it when I want to make an heirloom gift. I mean, there's no way to this is the best way to make a portrait of my grandsons that I can imagine. And I don't think I'm talented enough to just do a collage, or at least not yet. This is a pretty good way, but be prepared. It is tricky. It's time consuming. I like how Jody said sometimes she can only do it for a little bit, then she's got to take a break. And I understand that very much. All right. Whoops. Now, I don't want to put an iron on this yet. So what I will do, it's got the paper backing, but it's on the sticky part. I will take my fingernails using friction, and that should transfer the sticky to the fabric because I don't want to iron such a tiny little piece. But when you take the paper off, just feel the back of the paper, make sure it's not sticky. Okay, this is going to go right off of here. Oops, what's the direction again? It's this direction. So this one is going to go right off here. Whoops, I really want to get it right. Okay. Sometimes when you double up on fabric, that is just enough that you can't really see through it. All right. So there it is. Now, of course, I don't want to iron it right now. So now what I'm going to do is just take my fingernail or finger and just kind of burnish it on there a little bit. Or I can come take a little wad of fabric and just with the tip, because you don't want to fry your light board. That's why I put a bundle of fabric under there, and don't leave it on very long because I do not want to damage this little light board. So there is a darker piece. This is going to help define his nose. Now I need the other one, which, yes. So let me get a piece of paper to draw that one. And then I'm going to need, this one was a 3.5 or so. This one's definitely going to be a 4. So let me draw this on here. I love to hear that our Jody saves this stuff too, because I just hate to waste. You know what? Uh-oh. This is not steam a seam. This is a piece of white fabric. Okay, so let me get another piece, another scrap. When I went to peel the paper off, there was no paper on the back, it was fabric. All right, get this done. And since these are darker, I don't have to have an extra edge. Now, let me tell you, the way Jody does it by tucking the lighter fabric under, it really works good. I like that. And that way it's a nice clean edge. She knows her stuff. She has learned very well. Oh, I have another thing to tell you. I am going to be going on retreat in a couple weeks. And I'm only going to be gone during the week. So I might have to miss one Thursday, but I won't miss any Sundays. And but the woman there's a woman there that's going to teach us how to do fabric weaving. So I'm very excited about that. Let me look again to see how dark. It is pretty dark, but I'm thinking, yeah, that will work. Okay. So I'm going to take this and it's got this sticky on it. And I'm going to stick it on here like this, and then just use my fingernails to make sure that by the friction heat, it will stick to the fabric. All right, now I'm going to cut it out really quickly. But this is what I'm at the stage now where this is what I'm doing. Now, I was working on the face first. I find it better if I work on the part that scares me a little bit more or overwhelms me a little bit more. But then I worked so much on the hard stuff, I needed to have fun. So this afternoon, I went ahead and did the hair because that, when you do the hair, that's something big. It makes you feel excited. So, okay. So this one's going to go this, yep, this shape. And it's going to slightly overlap the other one there. Okay, let me make sure. A little bit over. So here it is. Here are, I'm not sure if you can see it very good, but here are the two little pieces there. And then here, the two little pieces are here. And so I put these fabrics on. Sometimes I have to come back in and refine it a little. And like I won't quite have a shape right by an eye or something like that. So I feel free to come back and check and come back and refine. All right. Okay. So now let me see. I'm going to try to do, oh, this one, the mouth is really hard here because it has so many different little pieces here. But here is a piece. Oh, what did I just do with that piece that looked white? It looked like it was paper, but it was fabric. Here's a piece of white fabric. So I'm going to, on, whoops, I actually, I want it this side up. Let's see. I have to kind of do it backwards. Okay. So I just kind of did it backwards so that when I put it on, it should be facing the right way. That's the trickiest thing. And if you have to, lightly pencil it, hold it up, pretend you're putting it on the fabric, make sure you've got it the right way. This is coming off the bottom of this mouth right here. So let me take off the paper. But this, and also, oh, another thing, I meant to bring some tweezers. Tweezers really help you with this. So, okay, right here. Whoops. This is what can happen when you don't have everything ironed down. But I really don't want to iron down until all the pieces are in place. Because if you try to pull those pieces up once they're ironed down, uh, piece is too big. Let me refine it just a little. Okay. Oh, okay. Refine it just a little. Feel free to lay it right there and just make sure you've got it. Okay. This time I'm going to use a little dot of glue. Right. Or just a little touch. You don't want too much. You can barely even see where I put the glue. And then it goes. Okay. Right, and I can always tweak these later, but it really helps if you can lift up the edge and do the tweaking. So that's why I try not to do much. But if I were going to iron, I would either take one of my woolly mats and put it on top of the screen, or move this off of the light screen. Okay, let me see. I kind of wish these don't really show up the different layers. So what I'm probably going to do is come with a fine micron and give it slight little definition to, but it's got to be very, very light. You probably can't even really see that, but here, right here, I did just a barely little definition. I'll come on this one. So I might do a little defining with these. Now, what's really going to make this look like Russell is when I put his eyes in. But I'm holding off on that because I get so focused on that that sometimes I kind of forget about some of the other things. So what I've got, this is what sometimes I have a hard time keeping up with. I've got all these little tiny circles, three, 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 all these little circles of fabric that I've got to put in here. So I've got, do I have these two down on his chin? No, I'm going to do these two. All right. So here is my paper. Where is that white fab? Here is that white fabric. So what I'm going to do, if I put it on like that, then when I turn it over, it won't be right. So I'm going to have to carefully draw it. Oh, this, I want to be very careful with this because I don't want it to show. So I'm going to draw it outside. Um, whoops. I'm going to draw it outside the line so I can cut off that line because it's on fabric number 1. That's my lightest. Okay. So now when I cut this piece, I'm going to cut the whole line off. So I drew the line on the outside so I could cut it off and it would still be the right size and shape. Here we go. Come back around and in. All right. So this is going to go on his chin. This will help define his chin. And I can see right where it goes. There. And that's why make sure you have it at the correct place. And okay, so I peel it off. It's got the sticky on it. And it goes right there. So that defines his chin. Then there's another little piece right here. Oh, that might be a number. I don't think that's a dot. Okay. I think that's a circle to make me know that's the number. Some things you can tell it's actually a circle. Be careful though when you circle like this, I can tell it's supposed to be there because that's a very bright dot over that. I can make that really quickly. Do I have any more of the white already on? I just was using it, but oh, is this it? Yes, this is it. Okay. So now, very carefully, oh, it goes right above the eye. Okay. So again, I'm going to draw it larger so that I can cut it out with having any of the pencil any of the graphite on it. Okay. Now I'll take it, cut out the line. So I am working on the crocheted pumpkin for Sunday. I am working on making another paper piece pumpkin. I'm going to actually make 2 more for that pillow, and they're going to be in different colorways and different sizes. And so I'm very excited. And I'm probably going to take the original pattern and enlarge it and then print it out. And okay, now which way does this? Okay, goes this way, right on top of his little eyebrow. Okay. If I outline the areas of his face, I'm probably not even going to do it with thread painting because um I don't want it to be too, nope, it's too big. Let me trim it down a little bit more. I don't want it to be too definite. I don't want him to look like a cartoon. So that I've got to be very careful about that. Okay, let me cut a little bit off this bottom. All right, this is much better now. And then put it right up here. It's just a little highlight above his eyebrow. Okay. And some of these things might look odd when you first put them on, but trust me, just give them a little bit of time. I have time to do one more, so let me see. I've already got this. Okay. Is there one other? Oh, here we go. A little darker piece right here. So I'm going to take a piece of paper that's pretty close. Let me see. Yep, I'll be able to get that piece out of here. And I come in like this. Okay. Oops. And since this piece is lighter than the hair that comes down under it, whoops. Since this piece is lighter, I need to leave a little extra on the bottom to tuck under. Okay. So I'm going to cut this out first. And you can do a little bit of squiggles, but just don't make yourself crazy. Don't make it so hard that it loses the line. All right, and this is going to go on a number 3, which is this. Oh, here's one. Ah, this already has some glue on it. Okay, so since it has some glue on it, I'm going to put some extra glue on the back. All right, this is good. All right, now let me cut this out. And you have to remember that this is the side that's going to tuck under the hair. So hold it in place really good and then just give it a little trim. And okay. All right. Here we go. This is going to go. See, this is the hair that's going to cover it. So I carefully move it, cover that little bit of an edge. So I'm going to pull that back. Look, let me make sure the sticky is on it. Pull that back. I mean, this is how very fine and careful. And that's why I highly recommend use tweezers. There. Let me look up this side. Yep, that looks really good. And there we go. And it's so hard to even see it but every little thing makes a difference. It's this little piece right here, and it's darker than this one. So some of these are just little careful lines that you work on. So here are the two things that are going to start defining the nose. Right now, it's really in the rough stage of just some color blocking. I'm thinking this highlight is too light. I have two choices. I can take this fabric out and put something a little darker, or I can come in with my ink tints and I can color it. And that's what I think I'm going to do there. I think I'm going to bring it a little darker. Oh, hi, Cheryl. It is so good to see our Cheryl. Betty Meisner's here. Ann Lewandowski's here. Yay, yay, yay. All right. So, but anyway, I think that I came a pretty good distance. You're starting to see this little boy and his I just love the way he's posed there. And one more time to show you his brother. What did I do? I think I covered it up with this fabric. Yes, I did. So here is his brother, which is pretty darn finished. That's, I think that those are pretty good. His brother's little brother is going to be in the foreground, and the older brother is going to be a little bit behind him. And I think that, just to recap, that this is going to be my background because it looks like a photographer's type fabric, classic something. And I'm thinking that he's going to have this fabric for his shirt because I think it is a nice complement with the purple, and I think it looks really good with the green. So, I was so excited. This is going to be, I think, Brothers shirt fabric. I was going to be so excited to have actual little kid prints, but it was just going to take away from it. And let me tell you, by the time you finish, by the time you finish a piece of work like this, you're going to have hundreds of hours in it. And if you really want to make it as good as you can make it, which I do, because this piece is going to outlive me. But what I was going to tell you is you will have hundreds of hours in it. So, unless you do something that has bigger, simpler pieces, but I want to do it right. And I I want them to treasure it. So I want to get it as good as I can get it. And I think we're getting there. Like I tell you, I mean, I tweak this a little bit almost every day. I'll look at something and go, "Ooh, that bothers me." So I'll go in and work on that. So it's a work in progress. Block everything in. Get all the fabric down before you do any tweaking. And because it, you have to get it blocked in first. And the fabric plays off of each other. So, and that's important. So, anyway, are there any, how will they display it? I'm going to, that's a very good question. What I probably should do is get a curtain rod to put through it. Something like a nice black iron curtain rod with finials on the ends, and for them to hang. That might, thank you for asking that. That's very good. So I'll have to put a little rod pocket right below the binding. And then I think a nice black iron curtain rod, kind of thin with finials about an inch, inch and a half, because it's not going to be that big of a piece. So that was good thinking. I have to get finding a curtain rod, but something like this. I think a curtain rod, and it'll have two little brackets, and they'll hang it. I think that's probably the best. I don't get, because you don't want to stick pins in the wall. This is going to be something nice enough that I'll have the curtain rod with it and ready to go. Mary's here. Yes, it's I want it to be very classy. Classic, classy, and I love these boys so much. What is my camera doing? Auto power off. What is this? It's oh, why? Oh, the come on. The power cord is coming out. Come on. Okay. The power cord was coming out. I noticed that the screen on here, the screen was going dimmer and dimmer. You weren't feeling well today. Oh, I'm sorry. I hope you don't have the tummy bug I had last week. Oh, I don't want that again. Let me tell you. Well, I think this is it for me. I've got my granddaughter coming over, and I'll show you everything. But look at the state of this room. Is this a mess or what? Look at the table. I've got a lot of cleaning before she gets here tomorrow at 11 a.m. Oh. And then she said her friends and her, they're going to go to see a haunted movie. It's their thing they do every year. So I said, oh, well, Mark and I are going to have a date too. We're going to get our double boosters. So I said, you want to go with us? She goes, no, 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 it's okay. I've been boosted. I'm fine. Thank you. And then there's a beautiful harvest moon out there. It's so big and bright. Oh my goodness. If the trees are really blocking it, or I would show it to you. But Mark and I talked about it. We said, well, after we go get our shots, maybe we could go to IHOP and get pancakes. Because I think every good shot deserves a pancake. All right. Take good care, and I'll see you Sunday. I have several good things I'm working on to show you. And adding the Angelina fibers and the um, tool really did a wonderful thing for my moon and my sun. I'm so excited. So I'll see you Sunday afternoon. Okay? Take good care, everyone. Have a ghoulish good week. Bye bye, everybody. Take good care. After my shots, take it easy. Yeah, I know. We're probably going to have to. We wanted to put some new carpet down in the sunroom, but we'll see. It depends on how sore we are. Bye bye. I love all of y'all too. Y'all are such wonderful friends. And thank you for making my life so full and so fun. Bye bye. Take good care.